Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to go over some queries in Access. So this is a database we were working on in class not too long ago, and basically it's got a bunch of mock data. We have a clients table that has about 999 clients in it, and some clients have a balance outstanding and a due date. Now we just randomly applied due dates to these, so some of the due dates are well into the future, some are well into the past, but we want to use this to run some queries in Access. But we have clients that some of them owe money, and for some of them that owe money, some of those due dates are in the past, hence their accounts are past due, so we want to keep track of that. And each client is assigned a particular employee that they work with, a salesperson, let's say. So we also have a sales staff table, and there's about 15 employees there, and including base salaries. Excuse that reminder. Time to go to yoga class pretty soon. So let's go ahead and get this started here. I'm going to go ahead and close my tables. Don't really need those open at the moment. And I'm going to jump over to the Create ribbon. That's where I'm at. And I want to focus on Query Design. And the first query that I'm going to make are going to be clients with balances past due. And for that one, I only need one table. Even though I have two tables available to me, I only want the one table. You don't want to include more tables than what you need for your query. So I'll just bring in my clients table, close, and let me show a little bit more of this design grid here. So on my clients table, I'm going to bring in just a few pieces of information. I'll bring in the client ID, and I'll just double click on that. I'll bring in the client name. I'm going to bring in their balance, and I'm also going to bring in the due date. Okay, so this is a query even though I don't have any criteria in there. And if I were to run this query, I'm going to get pretty much everybody. There's 999 records, 999 customers, and I've got a list of all their stuff. But I'm not interested in every client. I'm only interested in, right now, clients that have a balance due. So out of my 999 clients, let me jump back to Design View. I'm going to go to the criteria for balance and just type in greater than 0. I'm only looking for clients that have a balance greater than 0. And if I rerun this query, I'll see that now I get 500 clients. So 500 out of the 999 that I've got have a balance due. Now I'm really interested in the clients that have a balance due that's late. Okay, so I'm going to head back over to Design View, and I need to create a calculated field, a calculated query in order to figure this out. I know what today's date is, and I know what the client's due date is. I've got to figure out how many days are in between. So I'm going to go ahead and create a calculation here. To make it a little bit easier for me and for you, I'm going to zoom in on this, right click and zoom. That'll give me this little dialog box where I have more room to type. And I'll make my font a little bit bigger here. Alrighty, and let's see, I'm going to go ahead and create balance past due in days. So this is the name of my new field. And basically, I'm going to take the now function. A little problem with another program on my computer. Let's see. So I'm going to take the now function, which is simply NOW parentheses, minus the name of the field that contains their due date. For me, it's client due date. So I know that today has a date, and that's how I can get it, the current date, minus I want to get client due date. There we go. So just that little subtraction formula is going to help me out. It's going to take the current date minus the due date, and I'll click OK. I get a new field, and if I run this one, oops, I get a bunch of big numbers here. There we go, bunch of numbers. And basically some of them are positive and some of them are negative. I'm not really concerned about the negative ones because the ones that have a negative past due, or their balance isn't due until the future. For example, my very first client up here, let's see, I'm recording this on April 26, 2012. Their balance due date isn't even until September of 2012, so they are certainly not past due. So that means I can go back to my design and I could put in a simple criteria. Once again, I could do greater than 0, rerun this, and now I get only clients that have a positive balance past due, which means they're actually late, and I'm down to 332 clients. But what if I'm really interested in those that are really late? So I can just change my design here, and I'll go to greater than 90. I'm curious about clients that are more than 90 days past due. Go ahead and rerun that, and now I'm down to 279. So I've got a lot of clients past due basically, but now I've got this information that might be more interesting to me to find out, okay, what's going on, why do we have these clients past due and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, Save Object As to save this query, and this is going to be clients with balance, with late balance, more than 90 days. Okay, so now I have this query saved, which hopefully is some useful information for me. And even if I close this query, I can go back and rerun it, so I can always have updated information on those particular clients. Now, it takes care of that one. Okay, I want to make a different query, but I'm going to make a modification to this one, and I'll save it as something different. Let me jump back over to Design View. And for this one, I'm really curious about the average numbers of days past due, the total balance owed, based on who are the actual salespeople involved with these clients. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of modification. I'm going to get rid of my client ID and my client name. I'm going to leave client balance, client due date, and balance past due. And let's see, do I want to... Yes, I think I would like to insert. I'm going to bring in a new show a table. I'm going to bring in my sales staff table, and I'll just bring in employee name. Okay, so now I have employee name added over here. So I've got client balance, client due date, balance past due. I can get rid of the criteria for balance past due. I'm going to leave client balance at greater than 0. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add my totals row, which is aggregate data. I do want to group by employee name. And actually, I don't need due date. Let me get rid of due date. That's not helpful. I want to group by employee name. I want to get the average days past due, which means I'm going to have to kind of modify that formula name so it makes sense. Average days past due. Click OK. In the client balance, I'm curious about a sum. So here's what I'm going to do now. When I run this query, we're going to have a lot fewer results. But now I know that, for instance, employee 1, for his clients, they are on average past due 122 days, and there's a total of $23,717 in outstanding balance owed. And for some of them, it's pretty big. So let's see, I can see down here, employee number 8, even though his clients or her clients are not as long, they're only about, on average, 86 days past due, but they have about $45,000 in outstanding debt. So now this might give me a little bit of extra information to say, okay, salesperson 3 or salesperson 15, what's going on with your client? Why do they owe so much more than other people? Or why are your clients so much more behind in their payment than other people? And you can start to solve some problems that way. So that's pretty good information. So I'm going to go ahead and File, Save Object As, and this is going to be average days past, total amount owed, grouped by salesperson. So now we have an even more detailed query that'll hopefully give us some information that we can start to act on. All right, so I think I'll stop there. It's a little bit with queries, using some calculated queries and some aggregate queries. Have fun.